To our top story now, India and China are currently holding another round of military-level talks in the bid to diffuse tensions. India today has accessed exclusive satellite images of the meeting point of India-China border talks. The meeting, called by the Chinese army, is being held at Moldo on the Chinese side of Chushul in Eastern Ladakh. This is the second round of talks, Lt-Genral level talks, and the first of the bloody brawl on June 15th, where 20 Jawans lost their lives. India today has learned that India is asking China to go back to the pre-May 4 military positions all along the line of actual control in the Ladakh sector. China has not been inclined to agree on this point. China may also be asked to honor its commitments in the Galwan Valley and disengage completely there. India will also communicate to China to change the rules of engagement after 15th of June clash. Army Chief General Naravane is also likely to visit Ladakh soon. The visit could take place any time this week. He will be meeting ground commanders and review the ground situation as well. Abhishek Bhalla is now joining us live for the very latest. Abhishek, the big story coming out is Army Chief General Naravane going to be visiting Ladakh anytime this point of this week. He's also going to be meeting the ground commanders there, taking stock and reviewing the ground situation. What are we picking up in terms of the Army Chief's visit to Ladakh?
Well, this visit is planned, Chaiti, at a time when, tensions are escalating by the day. Even though, military-level talks have resumed today. Today is the first time since, those 10 Indian soldiers were released that last week that this dialogue is taking place. And it is at the highest level. The corps commanders of the two armies are meeting today. And this comes amid, heightened escalation at the Galwan area where that ugly clash took place on the 15th of June. What I've learned from sources is that even now, there is a big troop build-up on both sides. There are around 1,000 to 1,200 troops on each side of the line of actual control, very close to the petrol point 14 where that clash took place. So both the armies not willing to back off under any circumstances, considering what happened on the 15th of June. Also, as far as the Pangong Lake is concerned, again, a big build-up continues at Finger 4, an area which has been under Indian control for many years. This is being seen as China's clear attempt to alter status quo. In fact, between Finger 4 and Finger 8, which has been a grey zone, Chinese have come up with a lot of fortifications, set up permanent camps, and have also enhanced their troop deployment there. So all this is being considered as extremely sensitive. And in wake of all this, the security establishment keeping a very close watch on what's happening in Ladakh as of now.
Also, Abhishek, we have to bring our viewers to the attention that a series of military dialogues that have taken place in the past have not yielded much results to end this particular deadlock, given that we are seeing aggression coming in from the Chinese side as well. Instead, escalation really took place when the disengagement talks and de-escalation talks were on as well. What are you picking up in terms of a plausible solution that can perhaps come out of the current talks that are going on?
That's a very good point, Chaiti, that you've made, that till now, as far as the military dialogue is concerned, it's not yielded any results. At a time when we were hoping last week that some kind of a pullback will happen, the situation completely turned volatile. And that's what led to that 15 June clash in which 20 Indian soldiers were killed. And finally, for the first time, we are getting indications from China that they too have had a high number of casualties, even though there is no clear figure been given by them. But enough indications from global times that the number of soldiers on the Chinese side killed were under 20. So first real confirmation of casualties on their side. On the other hand, there is talk of political leadership as well as diplomatic intervention. But at the same time, as far as the military dialogue is concerned, it's been decided from both sides that it should not be completely called off. And that's the reason why a corps commander level meet is taking place today in Moldo on the Chinese side. And we've been told that this meeting was called by the Chinese themselves. It remains to be seen what the real outcome of this meeting will be. But what I've heard is that the focus is to ensure that there are no clashes. That's number one. And number two, of course, is a pullback. But last time the Corps Commander level meet took place, a similar discussion did take place, but that did not yield any results on the ground.
That's right. Abhishek Bhalla, continue to stay with us right there. Gaurav Sawant also is joining us. He joins us from Ladakh. Gaurav, we've learned that India is asking China to go back to the pre-May 4 military position all along the line of actual control. But the fact of the matter is the Chinese troops in large numbers are building up around the Pangong Tso area as well. If you could just walk our viewers through the kind of Chinese aggression we're seeing right there.
So, Chaiti, there is clear and present danger, and not just restricted to the Pangong Tso Finger 4 area. From what sources are telling India today, there are signs of Chinese mobilization that were noticed right from Depsang, close to Daulat Beg Oldie, down to Chumar and Demchok in south. So, if you look all along the India-Tibet line of actual control, you see tension in Depsang, you see heightened tension in Galwan, you see massive tension at Pangong Tso Finger 4 area where the Chinese have moved in and heavily deployed themselves between Finger 8 and Finger 4, and also some movement near Chumar and Demchok. So all along there's Chinese movement. Chinese say India's moved forward. India with evidence says China has moved forward, and it's clear for all to see. So can China continue to brazen it out, especially after China suffered casualties at Galwan? Now, the Chinese, from what I've been told by my sources, Chinese had calculated that they would move in. It would be so superior, their movement, that India would, you have no alternative but to accept the change in the status quo at line of actual control. But that clearly has not happened. India has ensured that China's advance was stalled at virtually every level, right from Depsang in the north to Chumar Demchok in the south. So now it's for China to decide, does it want a prolonged standoff at the line of actual control? India-China relationship has suffered a massive blow, perhaps a permanent blow after what the Chinese soldiers did. Within the Chinese hierarchy, according to sources, there appears to be a rethink. How will that be implemented on ground with minimum loss of face for China is what the two lieutenant generals, the Corps Commander on the Indian side and General Liu on the Chinese side will be talking about. That these talks are extremely crucial for the next several days and weeks to see whether tension is dialed down at the line of actual control. These are very, very crucial talks that are happening.
Oh, absolutely. Gaurav Sawant, continue to stay with us right there. India Today has also accessed the venue where the India-China talks are taking place. We have the satellite images, and news director Rahul Kaval will now walk you through where exactly this is taking place. Over to you, Rahul.
What we want to do is give our viewers a visual context so that they can better appreciate where this meeting is taking place. Remember, these satellite pictures accessed exclusively by India Today. But first, on a map of Jammu and Kashmir, I want to show you the broad area in which this meeting is taking place. On the Indian side, there's Chushul, and on the Chinese side, there's a place called Moldo. The dotted line here represents the line of actual control. So I want to come to the first satellite picture. This is a closer shot, and I've put it in context of Pangong because Pangong Tso has been in the news. So this is generally in the south direction of Pangong. This is Finger 4. So as you come down south from Finger 4, this is Chushul village, which comes in the middle. So this is now southeast of Chushul. This is the Indian BPM hut complex. So BPM is a border personnel meeting hut complex. I've marked it out in this circle. This is where the current meeting is taking place. The Chinese have a big border personnel meeting hut here in this area. But the meeting today is taking place along the line of actual control, and it's taking place in this area. So what I want to do now is take you to the next map, and we'll take you closer to the area and show you what this looks like on the ground. Okay, so this is a satellite image which shows you the area where this meeting is taking place. There are 3 helipads in the area. Now, usually militaries tend to have more than one helipad. If one, for whatever reason, is inoperational on the day, you can then land on any of the other helipads. And then this is the Indian Border Personnel Management Hut complex. It's a much bigger complex in this area than the Chinese BPM hut, which is marked out in this circle here. It's a much smaller hut, but that's where the meeting is taking place. Whichever army calls the hut, calls that meeting, the meeting tends to take place in their location. This is a flag post. India also has a flag post close to our hut, and the flag post is essentially where you have a Chinese flag up. I'll give you a visual of what this looks like from the ground. This is the hut where the meeting is taking place, and we have some images that we can show you, which will give you a broad context of what that hut looks like when it's shot from the ground. So the bigger hut that you'll see on your screen is the Indian hut, which I just showed you. It's this complex, and then the smaller hut is the Chinese hut, so this is the small one marked out in the left corner of the screen is the hut which is the one where the meeting currently is taking place. So that's just a broad sense of what's at play. Remember, the message that India is sending is very clear, that we will go in for this meeting, but we will first verify whether all of what you are saying is actually implemented on the ground. Or typically between professional forces, if there is an agreement on de-escalation, that's the way that it happens. However, in this instance, after what happened on the 6th of June, we saw, even though the Chinese Major General Liu Lin, who's in charge of the South Xinjiang military district, agreed on de-escalation, that wasn't done on the ground. And therefore, the Indian army, this time led by 14 Corps Commander Harinder Singh, very, very careful about ensuring that the de-escalation is operationalized in the manner in which it is discussed. So as I said, this is the Indian Border Personnel Meeting Hut which we showed you. That's the Chinese meeting hut, and that's where this current meeting is taking place. A very crucial meeting being called after the 6th of June, so more than a fortnight has passed since, and it will be very, very crucial to see what emerges from this meeting.
Absolutely. News Director Rahul Kaval getting you an explanation of the satellite images that India today has exclusively accessed right there. We'll continue tracking all these developments and get you the outcome in case there is a plausible resolution whatsoever as we go along the way.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.